All right. Hey, guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Hutchins, and this is Your Best Life Defined. So when you look at your life, when you wake up in the morning, you ask yourself questions and make your comparisons that you do with social media and all the other things that you compare yourself to. How would you rate yourself? Would you rate yourself as average? Oh, I'm average Chris. I'm average Jim. I'm average Jan. I'm average Sandy. I'll give you a minute. From a scale of 1 to 10, average being 5, below average being 0, above average being 10, do you see yourself as being average? Well, when you can't make that comparison, when you think about that, I think about I'm way above average, or I'm just off the chart. I mean, who the hell, how many grandpas do you know do a podcast every day and a video and are working on a book and travel around the country in a fifth wheel and are just generally like me? I think I'm way off average. Now, when you think about it, average isn't a grade of how good or bad you are. Average is simply a comparison of your life to what most people do. I don't spend too much time doing what most people do. In fact, I'm the member of a minority. So I'm not average. I'm off the scale. I'm off your scale. I had a conversation with some people about average and about this idea that we have to excel and we have to achieve and we have to always be growing and consuming and becoming better selves, better versions of ourselves, right? I see that as exactly how it needs to be. When I wake up every day, I'm not doing as good a job as I can. I will never feel like I'm doing as good a job as I can. But when we think about this thing, we get this gift of waking up every day. Our eyes are open and the world is here in front of us, no matter what we go through. The way I see it, we owe ourselves the obligation to do our very best at that. For no other reason, but simply because we have the opportunity. God. Can you imagine what you can be? What is still in front of you? The saddest thing that I experienced when I was out traveling in Florida. I love Florida. I love the water. I love the ocean. I can't wait to get back to it. But I was watching. I'd go out on the beach every day, and I'd usually set up my disc golf basket. I have a portable disc golf basket, and I'd go out there and run around and play in the sand and throw discs and just listen to music and talk to myself and do what I do, right? And every morning there would be this line of people, and what they would do is they would go out and they'd all set their chairs up, and about 1 o'clock, and then they would go back and they'd get their drinks and they'd spend all day out there doing that. Now, granted, they're living the lifestyle. They're out traveling and they're experiencing life. But when it really came down to it, they were being average. And the question is, why? Why not just push it to the limit? Why not face this thing called life with every ounce of energy you have? Well, energy is what it comes down to, I think. When you think about energy, energy is what drives us to move. Energy is what puts fuel in our tank to move. The way I see it, most people are struggling with this struggling with moving beyond their current box because they don't have the energy, because they haven't added anything to their life to draw energy from. See, I draw energy from this. I draw energy from this in a number of ways. I draw energy because it opens me up to say, okay, Chris, look at you. You said you're going to be there, but what are you going to talk about, and how is it relevant? How does it apply to the people who are listening? You can't be average. People don't do that. And I'm not average when I show up here every day and I ask you, how can I help you? Tell me, what do you need? What answer do you need? I'm not average. It's not average. How'd you do? How'd you do? St. Peter at the gates of heaven. How'd you do? How do you think you did? Man, well, I was average. I was average. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Why not? Why not go for more than that? See, I don't know. Hopefully I handed that to my kids. My kids are really hard charging. They tend to want to achieve, and even when they're pretending they're just trying to be average, they're not. They're learning, continually learning. I'm always learning something new from my kids and my in-laws too. Their spouses are just amazing. They're really smart people. It's a really nice collection of above average people. and is cool. But that isn't an exclusive club. That club is open to anyone who's willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And here's the ticket. Here's the thing that we tend to forget about. This idea about growing old and then sitting on your butt and doing nothing until you die. Who came up with that idea? Who do you suppose came up with that idea? Well, if you think about it, it's the banks. What better plan for you to get your money than to get you to sit down and just hold on to that money and spend it in one place? Well, how do we do that? Well, let's build houses and make them pay for them. What would the average man do? Law of averages are your children are going to grow up and live lives exactly like yours. And given the current situation that we face in the world, it might be worse than yours. I don't know. I think like 20% of kids are kids are living at home, over 20, something like that. I don't know. There's been a massive exodus back to the house because things changed. What are we going to do about that? And are you going to allow that to leave you believing or maintaining an average goal? Well, I'm going to get a job someday. There's nothing wrong with excelling. In fact, I think we owe it to ourselves to excel. I think we owe it to ourselves to always have something sitting on the horizon cooking that we are working towards, that we are trying to learn, do, experience, or be. Why not? Okay, you have setbacks. I'm not 6 foot tall, but if that was my thing, I would play basketball. I would do it. Why not? And I wouldn't be average at it. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm not average at anything. I don't take the average course on anything I do. I mean, when I got into martial arts before as I had entered law enforcement, I thought to myself, well, I need to have some more skills, because if I don't have skills, I'll get my ass kicked, right? So I go to a karate school and I join this karate school, but before I go in the door, I've been practicing for a year doing kicks, punching and kicking, learning how to punch and kick, watching Bruce Lee movies and Ninja Turtle movies and looking at all the moves and all the things they do, and then I'm going out and I'm replicating them. It's not what the average guy does. And it's cool. It's cool because I woke up this morning and I have a list of things that I have to do. But then I have a list of things that are just way off the chart of average. Just cool. Kayaking in the Grand River. And even for those things I face that I don't generally enjoy, simply by changing my attitude towards it. I have to replace the pump on the RV today, and I'm going to give me an opportunity to inspect everything and take a look at things. And is it what I want to spend my time doing? No, but I have to make the best of it, right? It comes with the choice. It comes with the decision to own an RV. Things break down a little more often in an RV than do in a house. You can't expect to take your home down the road thousands of miles and not have something shake loose or break. Still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. So let's look at you, because that's really what this whole thing's about, right? What does your horizon look like? When you wake up in the morning and you take a look at your life and you ask yourself, where do I want to be? Where is that? In a year, 2 years? I don't know. Wouldn't it be cool if you could just say, okay, you know, I'm not going to be average anymore. I'm going to pick one thing in my life and I'm just going to rock the hell out of it. I'm going to show up every day and I'm going to do what I need to do until it's done. In the end, that's how it's done. That's how we did it. We didn't know exactly where we was going. We just knew that every so often things would show up in our life that were just simply, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. And we said, okay, we can do what the average person does about it. We can go way above and beyond. I didn't just go to college to become a deputy sheriff, criminal justice. I didn't just volunteer at the sheriff's department 16 hours a week for a year. I didn't just do all those things and work a full-time job. I studied until 11 o'clock at night. And back then, I don't know where it was going. I didn't know it would end up here. All I knew it would take me out of where I was. I didn't know where it was going to end. And here I am. Sitting here, Mr. Podcaster, Chris Huckes, podcaster. Don't be average. Don't do an average job. Don't be an average partner, average lover. Why? I mean, can you imagine your partner sitting around drinking wine with their friends and, hey, so what do you really think of your wife or your husband or your spouse, whoever it might be, whatever that relationship is? Oh, yeah, she's average. Are you really going to show up? Are you really going to show up every day average? I mean, you can. There's plenty of people who do, and that's the easy path. You know what average really equates to? Average equates to not doing anything more than the people around you, than the majority of people like you. Just hitting it right there on the mark. Okay, this is where they went. This is how much they did. I think I'll just go right here in the middle. I'll just float right here with all these people. You know who isn't average? Oprah Winfrey isn't average. Will Smith is not average. I mean, and the list just goes on and on. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. I mean, like him or not, Donald Trump is not average. Why would we believe that average is good enough? Average is good enough. Well, I look like my life looks like grandma's. My life looks like grandpa's. I think we're going to be fine. I wonder how it's going to end. Well, I don't know. How do you think it's going to end? Well, it's probably going to end the way theirs did. Hey there, Mr. Average. Hi, I'm Mr. This is my Mr. Average, and this is my wife, Mrs. Average. And, you know, I think the saddest part about it is that your children are watching. The kids are watching. They take in everything we do and say. We think they don't. We think they're sitting there looking at their phones at the kitchen table, but they're not. They're listening. And they see how you interact. It's not so much what we do. It's the interactions, the subtle things that show our children where we're at. You're teaching your children to be just like you. It's unavoidable. It is unavoidable for you to teach them anything different because in spite of what you say to them, they are watching your actions and they're going to mimic those actions. So right now, if you are average and if you're okay just sitting where you are in your pond of life and not pursuing something more, not learning something new or experiencing some new thing or setting some lofty else, I can't believe it, no one else will believe it either, goal, you're not demonstrating to your children of what's possible. What's possible for you? What will you wake up to? What can you wake up to in 2 years? What thing could you do in 2 years that would change your life in a positive way? That would give you access to the more things in your life, to more of the things you love to do. Not my list. I didn't make it up. It's not my list. I'm not creating this. This isn't about me. I'm there. I'm actually sitting where I need to be and I'm moving forward. You see what I'm doing? This is 152. Before you know it, it's going to be 252. Because I have chosen not to pursue average. And what avoiding average and going above and beyond does, it gives you access to things that most people will never experience. Think about it. I'm not putting this show on me. This isn't about me, but this is about what I've experienced, just to validate or to vet what I'm talking about here. When's the last time you spent a month on vacation anywhere? When's the last time you spent 2 months just sitting anywhere, able to do whatever you want to do, able to get up in the morning and do what you do and then do a podcast and then go kayaking and do what you want to do with no real encumbrances? Kind of an important question. This is what average doesn't do. Average doesn't give you the opportunity to define where you're going to be in 5 years because average people already know where they're going to be in 5 years. Wake up. Wake up. The clock's ticking. That clock is ticking. Before you know it, you're going to look back in 5 years, we'll be gone. 5 more years. What could you get done in 5 years? Whatever it is, it won't get done if you're average. So, for all those people who think maybe we should be better about what we're doing and we shouldn't be having to work so hard and to drive forward, I say hell with that. You wake up every day that you wake up is a blessing and you should live it to its fullest extent. And that means in order for that to happen, you have to bring your best self to the table every day. And it's not the self, that old dusty self that you were yesterday. It's a new, revised version of yourself, a better version of yourself. You get that? Try it. Take a look around your life and ask yourself how many things you're just average in, and then pick one and take it to the moon and back. And you'll be amazed at how it feels. And even more than that, you'll be amazed at how it pushes you to do even more and more and more and more. It's a pretty exciting feeling. So keep that in mind. I hope you'll continue to show up. I really appreciate everything you guys do. I'm going to keep showing up here because, you're worth it. You deserve this. I have a blessed life. I wake up every day and I can't believe it. And I think that I owe it to myself and moreover to you to go ahead and share with you. Pick the gems from it, leave the rest alone. And as always, until next time, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.